Oh yeah, that's right. That's Good Sports is presenting a podcast here on the That's Good Broncos channel. I gotta change the channel name, that's confusing. Anyway, I've got the Blitzed podcast here. They had me on their show, and I thought, hey, they're not putting their podcasts on YouTube yet. I would love to host them. They talk about football. They get blitzed, which means they drink a lot of beer or booze, and they hate Tom Brady. So I think you'll enjoy their podcast here. I think the goal is going to be to post it every week, Wednesday or Tuesday. Fuck, I forgot what they said. Anyway, here's their season preview podcast. Make sure to follow them on Twitter at Blitzed NFL and tell them I sent you. Ha ha ha.
As many of you are now aware, last Friday evening, I, the coach, participated in our annual fantasy football draft. I did something way out of character and in a moment of weakness selected Tom Brady as my starting quarterback. I now know that this was wrong and I would like to apologize to everyone on Team Blitzed for my actions. I am utterly distraught at the pain and anguish I have caused my family, my friends, and you, our listeners, for betraying your trust in selecting a quarterback who couldn't even beat Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. Like Tom, I am just a man, capable of mistakes and misjudgments. I can only hope you'll try and forgive me and let me learn from what is now my biggest mistake to date as a human being. Come on, like, this is Read it! My biggest... I'm done!
Tonight on Blitzed, we kick off the NFL regular season with a two-part special featuring 6 women NFL experts. Plus, we discuss a suitable punishment for the coach, and we talk 80s movies. So grab a beer and get comfy. It's time to get blitzed. Welcome to Blitzed, where we talk NFL and rate popular drinks at the same time. Tonight is our NFL regular season preview show.
Yes, football's back.
Where we'll be talking to NFL experts from 6 different NFL markets. All of them also happen to be women. It's also shotgun night.
What?
Let's introduce our hosts.
Introducing tonight's starting lineups. The coach,
Seriously, I did not know about this. This is so awesome.
the rookie,
Get out there and smash.
and stats.
I'm just the stats guy. I have no idea.
That's kind of my thing. That's kind of my thing.
As we mentioned in the intro, it's our regular season preview show tonight. We also happen to say that it's shotgun night, guys.
Yay.
And let me talk about what that means.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I think I'm going to explain it.
Oh.
What we've noticed in the NFL recently is that teams are moving more and more to the shotgun formation. At least that seems to be what we think.
Fair.
Is that correct?
Fair, yeah, totally fair.
Terrible justification for what we're going to do.
So here's the thing. Before we talk about what you're going to be doing drinking-wise tonight, I wanted to drop a little knowledge on you.
That'd be rare.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
I'd like to drop some stats on you guys. No one said it was going to be accurate.
That's true.
Or right or...
That's true. Good stuff. In 2016, the 5 teams with the best offenses in the league used the shotgun formation the least,
Wow.
believe it or not.
Wow.
Cool.
That's the Saints, Falcons, Redskins, Patriots, and Cowboys. 4 of the 5 teams that used the shotgun, the most ranked among the 10 poorest performing offenses. One example, in 2016, the Chip Kelly-led San
That's what I was
Francisco
gonna say.
49ers
Yeah, I was thinking of.
used the shotgun formation 77% of the time, and they were 31st in average yards.
Went well.
Good job, Chip. Go back
Love Chip.
to college.
Yep.
So what we're going to do tonight is celebrating the shotgun formation with the beginning of the regular season. The guys are going to shotgun 5 different beers tonight, and they're going to tell you which is going to be their favorite beer to shotgun before the NFL starts.
So you're doing 3 and I'm doing 2?
This is unholy.
You're not sharing them whatsoever.
I'll do half. I'll do 2.5.
Yeah.
So when you
2.5.
So when you hear the referee's whistle, you know the guys. It's time for another beer for them to shotgun.
I thought training camp was over.
Oh, and there it is. There's the referee's whistle.
No.
Here we go. We're gonna dive into our very first shotgun. Okay, first beer to shotgun tonight is Bud Light.
So we're standing up, getting ready to shotgun these things. Now we have to poke the hole in the bottom of the can before we shotgun.
What if it sprays?
We'll aim the can towards you.
These guys are fools.
All right, so one just sprayed all over my face.
Meanwhile,
Oh, man. Okay, I got it. Are you ready to go here, guys?
no, come on.
What are you talking about?
Are you making a pedal?
What's a science project you got going over there?
No, I just like to shotgun properly here, fellas. The guy's covered in beer. What do you got, a science project?
It's cologne.
What do you got, a cold sweat happening?
In 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Oh, shit.
That's a good one.
Forgot how much I enjoyed that.
Okay, guys, one shotgun down.
face
We
still
did great.
red.
Is it still?
Looks like you just went to watch fucking Shamu. Sitting in the front row.
Where the hell does Shamu come from?
It looks like he was at an orca
whale,
show.
yeah.
Okay, one down. What did you guys think of Bud Light?
I thought warm Bud Light was excellent. For the record, probably the best shot. That's why we went with that one first.
We did good.
Yeah.
We did good.
All in all, 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
For
Okay.
shootability, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I gotcha.
All right.
Nice.
Let's keep it at that.
I'll give you a 1 out of 10.
Take one.
Recently, the Bengals hosted an 80s night prior to their roster cuts.
So
using that as a theme, what 80s movie would you say will tell the best story of the 2018-2019 NFL season?
You know what movie first popped in my head?
Oh, rookie, what do you got?
Weekend at Bernie's. Don't even know if that's an 80s.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Yeah.
Just go with it now.
keep
Just
going.
go with it.
Yeah,
You're
now
on-
I got to
you're
make
running.
it work.
You're
Okay,
running.
well, let me
do it.
think of the ways I can make this work. You know what the second movie that popped into my head was? And I wish I could make this one work, but there's just no way.
Go for it.
It's Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, Kurt Russell,
Yeah.
so good.
That might have been late 70s, though.
So here's my take.
Okay.
It has to be a competition where someone ends on top, right? With all key individuals, like individuals, right?
Yes.
Like because
Well,
that's
teams.
what teams are. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Teams made up of individuals.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
You're
my
building this up.
my movie, there's a brash newcomer.
Oh.
There's a charismatic veteran. There's a hated longtime troll.
Can't imagine.
Tom
Can't
Brady.
imagine what that could be.
There's a likable rookie. Actually, this will throw a curveball to you. There's an annoying rodent.
Oh.
And then there's a clueless kind of tradesman character, an everyman.
Browns?
You know what movie it is?
Well, go on.
Annoying rodent should have pointed it out to you.
Ratatouille?
80s.
I know.
Who comes out on top?
Oh.
One person out on top, facing off against one other. It's Caddyshack.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good. So what's the problem?
I don't know.
My favorite 80s movie, probably.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, great cast.
Oh, it's a great
Chevy
show.
Chase.
Great show.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray
Yeah.
with it's a Cinderella story. Oh my God, so good. Anyway, Danny is
Danny Noonan.
Danny Noonan
Yep.
is facing off against the judge.
He's a judge.
And in the end, the good guy prevails and comes out on top, and I think earns himself like a full ride scholarship, or the judge has to pay. So yeah, I liked how the annoying rodent. Who do you think that is?
Probably the Gopher.
No. I mean players or teams or players.
Teams.
You
Oh,
know?
is it teams?
Belichick,
Yeah,
obviously.
for sure.
Gotta
Yeah.
be Belichick.
The brash newcomer, that could be like St.
Mayfield.
Louis Rams.
Mayfield's good.
Mayfield.
Or well, if we're talking about, I was thinking more like teams. Like
Oh, teams.
You can't switch, though. You can't go player and team.
You went
with us.
individual.
well, I can do
and then
whatever
you
I
went
want. It's
team.
my take, So
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
so yeah, that's what. There we go. I'll go with Caddyshack. That's my.
nice.
It's my favorite
Wow.
'80s movie.
So this year, there's a few teams that have just loaded up. Loaded up, right? You've got the Rams, of course. I know there's been some poo-pooing of the Eagles, but I think they're pretty loaded myself. The Texans are coming back with a great quarterback, and if they stay healthy, they got some beasts on that defense. Yeah. I think, and the Vikings too, right? They take a great defense with great weapons, and they add Kirk Cousins. Like, there's some beastly teams out there. It is incredible. So one of my favorite genres, if you will, of movies, I'm going to go with Clash of the Titans.
Provide him with suitable weapons. Weapons of divine temper. A helmet, a shield, a sword.
This year.
Wow, original.
Yeah, going Clash of the
With the
Titans.
owl.
Nice, exactly, right?
The mechanical owl.
Mechanical owl.
His name's Boobo.
Do you understand all those clicks and wheezes?
Perfectly clear to me.
Who's the mechanical owl in your take?
I unfortunately haven't gone to that depth
Okay,
like you have. But I
okay.
appreciate your
Right.
your granularity there.
Oh,
if you
yeah,
will.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, I pulled that out. But I'm just like you look at the you read stuff, you look at the TV, you watch things. Well, in the NFL, it just feels like there's just a few teams that are just gonna fight it out, and everyone else is like, yeah, we're 9-7. Yeah, we're 8-8. Yeah, we're 9-7. And there's a few that's gonna be like 14-2, 13-3, and then it's almost like you already know who's gonna be there at the end of the year,
Titans.
right?
The
And,
big
and
boys.
it's those teams I mentioned, right?
Nice.
Eagles, Rams, Vikings, Texans, and probably the Pats will get in there just because they're the Pats, right? So, anyways, that's my movie.
Mailman. Mailman.
Tonight on Mailbag, we're talking with 6 women NFL experts who will talk about their expectations for their teams this season, as well as how they see women's roles evolving in the NFL. Guys, we're being joined by Dana O'Gorman, who's with Our Turf Football, covering Seahawks football. Oh,
Finally.
the coach!
Yes, I'm awake! Go Hawks!
Dana, welcome to Blitz.
Welcome, Dana.
Thank you guys so much. Yes, go Hawks.
I think that's all the sound the coach needs. I think you're good.
Yeah, we're
I think
good.
You're good. Yeah, we've been
We're done.
beating them up pretty badly. So, okay, so Dana, NFL teams had to cut their rosters down to 53 from 90 players recently. Which player did the Seahawks cut that was the biggest surprise to you?
I don't know about that. When I read the roster the first time, I wasn't really taken back by any of them. I mean, there was always this huge group that was on the bubble for a long time. So when it came through, I wasn't too overly surprised by any of the names. The one thing that did kind of throw me was Austin Davis. He was the backup quarterback, and they ended up putting him on IR, and he wasn't injured. It was the strangest thing. We never knew he was injured. He played a half a game in the fourth preseason game. So that was like the most bizarre thing. It comes out now, it looks like they were just trying to figure out a way to hold on to him. So basically they put him on IR, and they're paying him much more than they would have to, and they're paying him actually his base salary. So it's pretty obvious that they're just trying to keep their grips on him so he doesn't go anywhere, and that he got paid. So it is a weird situation. You know, when they brought in Hundley, we knew that Austin Davis was probably on the chopping block because he didn't play well before. But yeah, that was just real bizarre to me. That caught me way off guard.
Last year, it was widely known that the Seahawks had one of the lowest paid offensive lines in the NFL. What do you think the team has done to make up for that and to give Russell a bit more protection and time in the pocket?
2 words, Dwayne Brown. That's what they have done. They brought Dwayne Brown in at the end of the season. Thank God. I will praise the man forever for Dwayne Brown. He has been a gift from the heavens for the offensive line. You know, that leadership was just so important. And Justin Britt was trying, our center was trying to do a great job, you know, trying to be the leader. But there was just something different about Dwayne Brown. And when he came in, it was like a light switch went off. And so we actually, as horrific and scary as the offensive line was for the Seattle Seahawks last year, toward the end of the season, you actually saw some improvement. So there was this tiny little spark of life coming off of the line. We were so thrilled about it. But in the offseason, oh my gosh, what a difference.
So Dana, recently the Bengals hosted an 80s night prior to their roster cuts. So using that as a theme, what 80s movie would you say will tell the best story of your team this year?
This is the most brilliant question. Y'all need to pat yourself on the back for this because I flipped and love this question. It is so good. So it killed me. It absolutely killed me. Like, I was just racking my brain so much. And obviously, the first answer that comes to mind is obviously the Breakfast Club, because you have the goody two-shoes, which is totally Russell Wilson. And then you have, the emo, chick in the back who's Doug Baldwin, if you know anything about Angry Doug Baldwin, that's who he is. And then you have the bad guy in the corner who used to be Michael Bennett, but now we're thinking it's Frank Clark. And then you have the super sporty guy who always in my head is like super jacked up. That's Earl Thomas. And so, I mean, it made sense. Like, it was like everyone had a character.
Yeah, I got a question. Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
But when I thought about it a little bit more, it really came down to weird science for me. Pete Carroll and John Snyder took these guys and these personalities and these people no one wanted, and cast-offs from other teams, and they put it all together and made this insane team. And now they've torn it all apart, and they're going to try and do it again. And I think that that's really exciting.
Trust the process.
Okay, look, how you're always talking about how you can simulate all that stuff on your computer? What's the difference? Why can't we simulate a girl?
Dana, recently the coach drafted Tom Brady as his starting quarterback on his fantasy football team. Yeah, thank you. That was our reaction, too.
It happened.
So we're just asking for opinions. Choose one of the four answers. Should we, A, waive the coach, B, give him a 2-game suspension, C, forgive him,
yes,
or D, smother him with the Tom Brady jersey? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, all of the above. No, so
good answer. Let's leave it at that.
I love fantasy football myself. I get that it's supposed to be about the point. So, Coach, I get it a little. But I refuse to have a Patriot on my team. I won't do it. Until this year, I added Gronkowski. I did it this year. I added Gronkowski. And so I get it. I get it a little bit. But at the same time, you need to smother him with the jersey because it can't ever happen again.
Yes!
I love it.
Yeah, all
right. Exactly.
Tough love. Tough love.
Yeah. I love it.
Dana, this has been a huge pleasure to have you on Blitz.
Huge.
It's been really fun chatting with you about the Seahawks. So, you know what? I don't say this often. The coach knows this, but go Hawks.
Go Hawks!
Oh, yes. I'm so proud of you right now. Go Hawks. Nice.
So that's Dana O'Gorman. She's with Our Turf Football, and she covers the Seahawks. Thanks very much for your time tonight, Dana.
Thanks so much, Dana.
It was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
There's the whistle. Ah! Oh, no. Okay, time for Coors Light. Got a shotgun this one. You guys ready?
No.
Yeah.
Truly not.
Yeah. No, you guys going to be fine.
Oh. Here's what I didn't like about it.
What?
The half of the beer that came through my nose is still lingering. It still lingers.
It was so cold. It's like it was just from the Rockies already. I was just killing me.
That's a good, you're giving Coors Light a big vote there.
Guys, rating out of 10 for Coors Light.
6.
6? That's a good rating.
It's okay.
It is a good rating.
I'm not changing it. You're not going to talk me out of that.
No, you can't change it.
Do you know why? Because it was
backsies.
clean, but it just had a little bit of bite at the end that I just didn't appreciate. But it was decent. It was decent.
I like Coors Light.
I do too. I don't mind it rather.
Yeah, I will. I will buy a 6-pack of Coors Light if I'm watching a game.
Yeah. It's a good game beer.
I'll go 4.
No, don't do decimals. Don't do decimals. Oh man.
4.5.
It just means you're a terrible shopper.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah.
I buy this beer.
You know what I like
it's
to
less
do?
than half.
I like to buy a 6-pack of Coors Light and watch a football game and shotgun them every 7 minutes.
I love it.
I'm not buying it to shotgun. I'm buying it to sip.
Guy goes to a car dealership. How did you like the test drive, sir? I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
And I'll take it. I'll take it.
Guys, we've got Bears Girl on the line. She's a regular contributor for the Bears Bar Room. Guys, say hi to Bears Girl.
What's up, Bears?
BG.
Hey, Bears Girl.
Guys.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bears Girl, which player did the Bears cut that was the biggest surprise to you?
We actually just talked about this on Bears Hour Live that I just wrapped up recording, and for me, and we all agree, it was Ryan Nall. He looked amazing at camp. He was the lead rusher of all running backs in preseason. He's been signed to the practice squad, so that's kind of an okay for us, but we are really surprised that they cut him and kept Mike Burton instead. and we had the pleasure of talking to Ryan on one of our shows at Bears Bar Room, and he was just great. So that was a sad and a shock to us as well.
National media tend to not go so deep with their analysis on teams. So tell us, what are we overlooking when it comes to the Bears this year?
Well, it's interesting. There's a lot of commentary right now on whether the Bears spent too much to get Khalil Mack, on whether, stacking their wide receiver core like they have in the offseason is going to matter. I think what we're overlooking is the fact that this team has done almost a complete 180 since Pace took it over. We have players on this team in the last 2 years that haven't played before with the Bears.
Right.
And I think you've got someone like Kevin White who's actually going to start, and I hope, balling out. Split decision over on our camp and our crew tonight on whether White is actually going to see the field much, given that I think he's a fourth stringer. But I think if we can get him on the field and if we can get him the ball, he's actually going to prove why Ryan Pace picked him as his first overall pick in 2015.
What 80s movie would you say will tell the best story of the Bears this year?
It's funny because all I keep thinking about as we see all of the new branding and all the social media and all of the, the amazing, kind of retro feel of some of the stuff that they're doing is Back to the Future.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
I feel like the Bears are going back to the future. They're going back to the past to pull Monsters of the Midway out from where it had kind of been in hibernation. They're coming up with a future plan, definitely a very aggressive, bold, and kind of sleuthy pace process to get these players both in the offseason and now in preseason. And I think that that's what we're going to have. We're going to have the past dictating the future and the future being pretty darn good for us.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
You might have heard that we're big Tom Brady fans on this show.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not the case because I wouldn't have agreed to come on if you were.
I like it.
We like you, BG.
Bonus points.
Love
Yes,
it.
bonus points.
Fantastic. So tell us, what player is the biggest villain in the NFL not named Tom Brady?
You know what? It's going to sound like a cop-out, but I got to go with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh! What? I like it.
Rookie just swallowed his tongue.
I like it.
Thanks for coming on.
He was recorded earlier this year bashing his teammates. He's obviously got issues with, kind of his coaching staff. And
Bad leader.
his personal life is always in the media.
Yep.
It's true.
So
It's true.
I think he likes to play that role, of kind of the woe's me, look at me, but I'm going to come out and, I'm still on top and I'm still the GOAT and
What a
I'm still
dick.
Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, yeah, what do you got to show for it, dude?
Oh, I like this. This is real talk. Real talk.
I obviously don't like the Packers. That shouldn't come as a surprise given my name is Jared Burrow.
How could you?
Yeah.
And I'm going to issue my condolences to the Packer fans listening on this podcast because they wanted Fangio, they wanted Fuller, they wanted Robinson, they wanted Mack, and we got them all. We will see you all on Sunday at Lambeau.
That was a full pull. That was a full pull.
Wow.
No one wants to move to Green Bay.
It's not a draw, is it?
It's not a draw.
Absolutely love it. So Aaron Rodgers is Biff.
Aaron Rodgers is
You know what?
for sure.
You're right.
What are you looking at, butthead?
So every year in the NFL, there's a surprise team that comes out of nowhere. So what team is going to surprise us all this year?
Well, it's obviously the Bears, but I'm not going to answer them because, that'd be too obvious. I actually have some hope. I actually have some hope for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I like
nice.
it. I like
have to believe they're going to win at least one game and have a 1-15 season. I have to give them that. But no, seriously, I think the Browns are trying to make some serious plays. I think they are trying to get talent. I'm not sure how much Hard Knocks is going to be in their favor, given that no team, from my recollection, that's ever been featured has ever had a good year. But they gotta be better than no wins.
Now, what's considered a good season if you're a Browns fan?
I don't know. I think you'd have to ask a Browns fan.
Fair enough.
I'm just curious. You said, well,
maybe,
maybe
a season that you had the same quarterback for 2 seasons in a row.
Oh,
okay.
I like that. I like that, Matt.
Bad.
Yeah, I like that.
So not this year. Not this
year. Yeah, it's going to take a couple years. Yeah,
maybe next year.
Actually, it might. It'll be Taylor this year and Mayfield next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're going to start laying the foundation this year, and then next year will be really great.
So, Bears Girl, you work for an organization called the Bears Bar Room. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Bears Bar Room is a collective of 7 podcasts. There's a podcast every single day that's Bears related. And I work with some really great people over there. We've got a website. You can go to bearsbarroom.com. We just launched our swag shop. And you'll find everything from fantasy football analysis, things like betting and gambling tips from Mike North. You can find that every Friday, as well as coverage of the game that we just played every Monday night on Bears Hour Live, as well as games that are upcoming on our 100 Proof and the Phone 55 shows. So lots of coverage there. If you're a Bears fan, if you're not a Bears fan, pop on over anyway, because we're going to be talking about your teams almost every single week when we're playing against you. So,
Rookie, did you hear that? You can go over and you can listen about the Packers.
2 weeks of the year.
Already taking a look here.
Love it. Well, it's been a huge pleasure to have you on. I know it's late, and we really appreciate you making the time.
Thank you so much, guys. Have yourselves a great night.
Take 2.
Jerry Jones has recently started talking about an 18-game season again in the NFL. So, what's your opinion on an 18-game season?
From the player's point of view, I don't think it'll ever happen. Because of the player's point of view, I don't think it'll ever happen. I just think that like the injury risk, I just don't see how adding 2 games, the players will allow it. Either that or like the pay is going to go way up because the risk goes way up.
I don't think it helps. So one of the many reasons why I watch football is that basically the regular season is like the intro to playoffs. Like it's only 16 games. Like, so every game matters, and with 18, every game will still pretty much matter. And it was like it won't make a ton of difference. If it went to like 40 games, like that would be a massive difference in how you do everything in football, right?
Yeah.
But 18 to 16, I mean, it doesn't feel like it matters.
No?
And I think just keep it the same. I think the preseason is still good. I mean, not that you want to watch, but for the teams, especially since they can't practice as much and like 2 days and whatnot, I think you need to have those 4 preseasons to kind of vet the players, get a bit of tune-up. But 16 games, I think it's fine. 18 is not going to help it. It's not going to make any difference. It's not going to change the dynamic of the league. And it's if anything, it's probably just a bit of a cash grab for the league in my mind.
You think a loss is weighted the same in a 16-game season as it is in an 18 game?
I just don't think there's enough difference.
Okay.
Like it doesn't turn the dial on, hey, we've made a dramatic change to make this better because of blah. Like, what are they fixing? Or what are they improving? Like when you make a change like that, it's not that trivial, right? In terms of schedule, in terms of like the wear and tear and whatnot. So what are you fixing? What are you improving? Are you just saying, well, we don't want 4 preseasons, let's add 2 more regular seasons, which when it's all real, I just don't think there's enough rationale.
So what was Jerry's rationale?
His rationale, believe it or not, was that players stand less of a chance of sustaining a major injury with more regular season games.
Is Jerry okay?
No, I don't think so. Okay, can I jump in here?
Of course.
Okay, so here's the thing. Of course, this is a cash grab. This is about making more money, and this is a league that can't keep on increasing teams, and so they have to do more with what they've got.
Yeah.
So their only answer is to increase the season by 2 regular season games. We've just gone through a long off season where people are jonesing for football.
Sure.
Of course they are. So clearly what we're telling the NFL is that we want more football. We want a longer season. Now, the cool thing about the NFL, I've always found, is that it's a 16-game league, so every game matters.
Yep.
So this is one of the few sports where you will watch a game where your team isn't even playing.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Because it has ramifications, right?
Yep.
So why is it that we couldn't do something like, can we not increase the length of the season by 4 weeks, okay?
Yeah,
and add an extra bye with players, so players are better rested, and you extend the season out. People get to watch more football, and there's an $8 billion pie That's all responsible for. That's television money right there.
But your point, they extend it without increasing the number of games.
Yes.
Extend it without increasing the amount of games.
Just more buys.
So you get 25% longer season. The networks will bid 25%, hopefully more money on that, even if it goes up 15%.
Yeah,
guys, what's 15% of $8 billion? That's more money that they can get.
Yeah.
So let's not put the players at risk. And by the way, like this proposal that they had about extending to an 18-game season and only letting players dress for 16 games. Do you hear that proposal? It's fucking ridiculous.
That is fucking ridiculous.
It's so stupid, especially in light of, can you imagine when legalized gambling comes in? Why don't you try to explain that? Hey guys, I had to rest Aaron Rodgers this game because, I just wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just not going to work.
No. And lastly, I mean, actually the point you made about it, we want more games or we want more football to come back. It's like that actual gap makes it that much more amazing. That's why we love it, because there's an actual gap for that.
Guys, we're being joined by Lindell Whirling, otherwise known as the Steelers fangirl from the Fangirl Sports Network.
Nice.
Lindell, welcome to Blitzed.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. So, Lindell, we've been talking roster cuts. Who was the most surprising roster cut on the Steelers this year?
Absolutely. It was Landry Jones. There was so much worry and concern that they were going to cut Josh Dobbs, and that kid played his heart out. He played for his life, and he got himself on the roster. People were shocked, and people love it.
Wow. So where do you think Landry Jones is going to end up?
It's going to be an interesting question. He certainly has talent. He certainly has experience. The Steeler playbook is fairly difficult, so there should be a team that picks him up. I just couldn't be the person that has to cut all these players. It feels so horrible. So I really wish him the best. And one of the anecdotes after his cut was that he called Josh Dobbs to congratulate him. That's the story of a big person.
Wow. What's going to surprise us all about the Steelers this year?
I think every team has issues and things that are not perfect. And for the fans, they're a little bit concerned about Le'Veon Bell. Is he coming back? When is he coming back? Is he doing things in the offseason to prevent him from being his best? But, hey, that's the thing about a team. And the Steelers' vibe and the Steelers' history and the Steelers' motto is hard work. There's never really a gaping hole. They have contingencies. They have consistency. They've been there before. And they know how to prepare for these injuries, these absences, and sort of these interruptions. So I think people are focused a lot on what are we going to do without one of our big players, our star players, our generational players. But there are people working really hard. The train is in motion, and everybody needs to get on board before the first game of the season. And I don't think they need to worry about Le'Veon as much as maybe some of them have.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Well said.
Very well.
Okay, if you were running the team, Lindell,
as you should,
you are yes, of course, I agree with that.
From what I've heard,
Would
hell
the
yeah,
train still be on the track?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did I mention her name is Lindell Rooney?
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, Lindell, if you're running the team, what would you do about Bell?
I think you got to let Bell run the course. He is not a guy that is going to be strong arms. I don't think he's a guy that responds to ultimatums. And, what they're seeing is some of these players getting these really, really large contracts put in place, including members of his own team, the kicker, getting a huge contract. So I think you've got to let him be a man. You've got to make him come to the table. And as time is ticking away, as I said, there's players that have played their hearts out that are vying for that spot. And there's members of the team publicly speaking out saying, get on the train. It's in motion. So I think you have to let him be an adult and come to the Steelers and get the deal done. That's my personal opinion. I just don't think it's a franchise that's going to bend over backwards and beg and plead.
Okay, Lindell, we've been asking the same question to all women on the show tonight. What 80s movie will tell the best story of the Steelers this year?
I grew up in a Star Wars family, and that's a family.
Wow.
I'm going with Return of the Jedi. Luke, otherwise known as Ben Roethlisberger, is here to battle the Ravens, the Bengals, and that other team in Ohio.
Ouch!
He is going to use the 3Ds, now known as the 4 with Boswell, and I think he's going to reaffirm the love with AB, and he's going to bring in, just wait for it, my favorite 3 players who are all from the University of Southern California, and they are going to go ahead and disrupt the dark side.
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber. Your skills are complete.
So those players, I'm just going to call them out. Juju Smith-Schuster, Zach Banner, their newest addition, and Xavier Grimble. That's my movie plot for the Steelers this year.
Wow. Oh, I love it.
Raj just fell in love.
This is incredible.
Guy.
In your opinion, what will it finally take for a woman to become an offensive or defensive coordinator in the NFL?
The big challenge that women have in coaching positions is cultural fit, because you have to have credibility. And until there's a woman who's been in that position and walked a mile in those shoes, the barriers and the obstacles are huge. It doesn't mean that it can't be done. We're seeing women come in and have more prestigious, more powerful, more authoritative roles. The Sixers just have a woman that came in. The Raiders have brought in a woman. So I think it's going to be gradual. I think it's going to take time. And the person that finally gets and first receives that position is going to have to be a pedigree. I would say, I mean, I hate to be extreme, but some kind of Olympic athlete or a woman who has really done remarkable, incredible athletic feats, because to get a younger player who has incredible talent to trust the program or the coaching that is provided by such a person, it's really a leap in today's day and age. But I hope that it happens. I can see it happening, but it isn't going to be just any old candidate. It's going to be a really special person that gets put into that position, and they're going to have a lot of pressure and eyes on them, so they're going to have to succeed, and that's why it won't be just an average person.
Okay, as you probably know, here on Blitzed, we're huge Tom Brady fans. You may have heard that somehow.
Do I get the question? I already know the answer.
So let us ask you, what player is the biggest villain in the NFL not named Tom Brady?
Oh my gosh. I just wanted to say Tom Brady. Now I have to have a moment.
No, that's the right answer.
You got it. Wow. Nailed it.
I love it.
That's perfect.
Okay, that's my final answer.
Oh, very
You don't like
nice.
mine.
Very nice.
All right, Lindell. Well, you're part of the Fangirl Sports Network. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that is?
I'd love to. It's just a phenomenal concept, and it really is one that I think once people hear about, especially women, are going to want to be a part of. So thank you for letting me share it with you. The founder of the Fangirl Sports Network, Tracy Sandler, is a rabid, incredible blogger and San Francisco 49er fan. She started blogging, made relationships with the team. She's on a first-name basis, and she's up there all the time at Levi Stadium and in Santa Clara, continuing to evangelize the Fangirl Sports Network. And what it really is a place for women who enjoy sports, NBA, NFL, and all the other professional teams to come together with not just sports information and stats, but to really empower women with female content. And it's not girly girl type stuff. It's useful, relevant, interesting content, but it's all around football and basketball and lifestyle. So I have tremendously enjoyed being a part of it. I can tell you, there's not a lot of women that really get together and talk about sports. And I've even been on a podcast where the host said, we don't really like talking about sports with women. So what she found is there's a lot of female fan base, opportunity for women to come together. And so she's filling that void in the place in the market where there's actually a need and an interest.
Lindell, it's been a huge pleasure talking to you. Lindell, the Steelers fangirl. Thank you so much for your insight on the Steelers. Wonderful.
That was awesome.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And here we go. It's time to play some football.
Let's dive right in and talk to Angria Trask, co-host of the Just Win Ladies podcast on the new Raiders Podcast Network. Guys, we're being joined by Angria Trask. She's the host of the Just Win Ladies podcast for the Oakland Raiders. Say hello to Angria.
Hello, Angria. This is Coach. It's Rick.
Hello, guys. How are you?
So let's jump right in. Last weekend, teams had to narrow down to 53 players. Who was the biggest surprise cut on the Raiders?
I'd have to say the biggest surprise was probably Martavis Bryant. I wasn't super shocked about it, but, we gave up a third-round pick for him. He was really highly touted. Obviously, he's a really fast guy. He's been known as a pretty good receiver, but he just wasn't fitting for what Gruden wanted, and apparently there's another suspension looming.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised to hear that portion of it. I think the most is that there was probably another suspension coming.
God, it's amazing that he cost you a third-round pick, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always tend to miss something in the national media when it comes to teams. So what are we overlooking when it comes to the Raiders this year?
Everybody's still kind of down on the defense, and I think that's a mistake on people's parts to discount the defense that we've got on the field now. We've brought in a whole bunch of secondary players and made them fight for the roster spots, and only the best made it. So the guys that we have on the field now are rich in talent or rich in experience or some combination of both. And I think it's going to be a head and shoulders increase above what we've seen over the last several years. I don't think we've been above number 24 for a decade at least. And the pass rush that we've got in place now has a chance to be phenomenal. So I'm excited to see 3 rookies that are just kicking ass in preseason, and they're ready to kill people on the field. So
fantastic.
That's okay.
That's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's allowed.
Okay, we can't talk about defense and pass rush unless we touch on the Khalil Mack trade that just happened. In your opinion, Bears, Raiders, who won this deal?
I think it's tough to say. I think we're both kind of in a difficult position for the next couple of years. Obviously, we lost one of the best pass rushers in the league in probably a decade, and that's going to hurt. And we also shipped off a second-round pick with him, which befuddled me. But that's Reggie McKenzie, and he's not the best at negotiating. So I think Chicago is going to be in a world of hurt for a while, though, for their cap situation, because they just handed this man a 6-year contract. Who gets a 6-year contract? Yeah. Quarterbacks. That's it. If he blows his knee or tears a bicep or something next year, he's out for the season. He gets to sit back there and collect his $25 million or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's the risk you take. Yeah. And he's going to be, in 6 years, he's going to be 33 years old. People were knocking on the Raiders last year for picking up Navarro Bowman at 30, and he was a monster.
He was very good.
So I think that the Bears are going to have a tough time. They're going to be in cap hell for a few years, and they're not going to have any first-round picks. So if they, I hate to wish anybody bad luck, but I really hope they finish with a 5-11 record, because I want to pick in the top 5 for the next 2 years.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
That would be totally worth it to me.
So switching gears here, you've also got a new head coach in John Gruden. And I think the knock on Gruden nationally at this point is that the only Super Bowl he ever won was with Tony Dungy's defense, and he may be a little out of touch with today's NFL. So convince us we're wrong.
Let's break this down a little bit. Tony Dungy's team didn't ever win a Super Bowl. So Gruden took a team and he made it a team that won a Super Bowl.
Fair.
So there's that. Hopefully that convinces you a little bit. If you look at Tampa Bay's history, since then, they have really done nothing either. They are still mediocre. They are still marginal, and that never changes. I mean, we don't see spectacular players coming out of Tampa. And we got Doug Martin. He didn't do anything in Tampa, though. He had a great season one time. But, they've got good players over there, but they just can't put it together. So that can't be a knock on Gruden if it's a continual situation. It's a continual cycle for the organization itself. So I think Gruden, his biggest success was in Oakland. And the fact that he got shipped off was a mere function of a disagreement with Al Davis. And as probably everybody knows, Al Davis was a disagreeable man, and he was in charge.
Insane.
He was that guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he was a mobster at some point in his life. The old Jewish mob, I'm sure exists, but he would be the guy that would drop you in a hole. So he dropped Gruden in a hole called Tampa Bay.
So, Angry, as you know, we're huge Tom Brady fans on the show.
Huge.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, what player is the biggest villain in the NFL today not named Tom Brady?
Ben Roethlisberger.
Go on.
Hesitations, right to the point.
Yeah.
Love it.
Ben is a big crybaby. I think he throws a fit when he doesn't get his way, and he got mad at Todd Haley last year, so who's the new offensive coordinator? It's not Todd Haley. He gets pissed off every time somebody says he had a bad game. Well, maybe I'm not good at this anymore. Maybe it's time for me to move on. And then he changes his mind.
I like that. I agree.
They draft a new quarterback, so all of a sudden, I'm ready to go. And he drops 50 pounds and comes into training camp looking like he did 20 years ago. Wow. So
it's not bad.
I just have... I got no love for Ben Roethlisberger.
Good take. Good take.
That's solid.
It's a great take.
That's solid.
So, Angria, Just Win Ladies has just joined the Raiders Podcast Network. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Kenny and Jim Jacks and I all decided to come together and put together an actual network that was just kind of based around the Raiders and the fan base, because our show's doing really well. People seem to like us, and Kenny's show is very popular, and he does a great show. If anybody hasn't listened to it, you have to tell them to listen to it because it's amazing.
So that's the Pillaging for Fun podcast that Kenny runs.
And we decided to, there's so much more we can do in the community and with, people online and everything. So we just created a network. It's our 2 shows, and then we're going to do a live show as well for now. And that's pretty much it. We're going to focus on just those few things so we can get out in the community and we can do more, get kind of in front of everybody, get the Raiders podcast out there so people know kind of how we want to look at things.
Fantastic. And where can people find this, the Raiders Podcast Network?
It's at Raiders Podcasts with an S at the end. And you can find it on my Twitter or Jenny's Twitter or the Just Win Ladies or at Pillaging Podcast. Any one of those. We have it on all of them.
Not many options.
That's great. Terrific. Well, we'll make sure that our listeners know where to find you, and good luck with the network, and good luck with this season.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Take 1.
Okay, we've been talking NFL cuts with our guests. So, guys, who was the most surprising cut to you?
Okay, I've got a curveball here.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
I know.
Oh, I got to cut you off. Sorry, there's no whistle.
It's time for our third beer. We're going to shotgun Coors, the banquet beer.
Okay, first of all,
a waste.
Is that, that's too nice a beer to be shotgunning.
Too good.
You're inferring that you have a choice.
Oh. Wow, the hammer just came down.
Boom.
Oh.
I'd like to take this one on. Actually, you were talking. Right?
Yeah, I'm on. Are we live? Are we talking? Do we know what the question was?
We're live.
We're live.
Yeah.
Right
What did you guys think about that one?
Most surprising cut. Oh, the beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Cold.
It was cold.
Like cold.
That one the carbonation was a little rough.
You don't want to shotgun cold beers.
Yeah, and for Stats and I, much better execution. Thanks, Rook. For coaching us in that
actually,
one.
Big improvement.
Really appreciate it.
Only half the beer ended up on the ground.
Yeah, and not many.
Still completed it.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want a number rating out of 10 for Coors, the banquet beer for shotgun.
Well, honestly, temperature-wise, I'll give it like a 5. That was rough.
You know what? Overall, hell of a shotgun. That for me was better. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Wow.
It was a better beer.
Okay.
It was just.
It's a better beer.
It's a better beer.
But I'm thinking of the shotgunning.
Yeah, it was great.
Let's jump back in and let's talk about what player was the most surprising that was cut over the last weekend.
Okay, I had a curveball.
Coach, what do you got?
So there was a player last season that I think we ridiculed ad nauseum. It's ad, right? It's not ad nauseum. Yeah. Nathan Peterman is now the starting quarterback.
So you're going off script?
That's what I said. It's a curveball. I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Because how shocking is this?
Starting quarterback.
No, I was looking through it, and there's a few guys, but honestly, I didn't see a huge surprise. But this just came across like Peterman's the starting quarterback. I mean, he was just awful last year.
Well, remember he was awful in one half.
Game.
Oh yeah,
1 half. Yeah.
Against the Chargers.
Yeah.
He did start another game, by the way, that nobody talks about.
Yeah,
I know. They can only remember the 5 INTs.
Didn't he finish? He finished quite well in that game.
He did just fine.
He did okay.
But let's not forget, this guy has had 8 incompletions the entire preseason.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Peterman won this job.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like impressively, because I mean he did earn it. Like there was an open competition at the Bills there. Right?
I don't think Allen pushed McCarron out. Like it was.
Yeah.
No, I think the offensive line pushed Allen out.
No, I was.
They didn't give him any time to throw.
It's his job. He's pushed McCarron out.
Yeah, no,
that's necessary.
I just thought it was really impressive. I just saw that flash. I'm like, well, that is amazing. Because to think about how your confidence would go to start that way.
Right.
And then to pick it back up again, I was just impressed with that. So I wanted to kind of.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you just there because the first 10 shows you did with us, Coach, you were awful, but you bounced back. You've had some good shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. You know what? Yeah. Mental toughness, right there. The coach.
You had the equivalent of 5 turnovers and a half.
You are first 10 shows. Yeah.
Is this a compliment?
In a way, you are. You have Nathan Peterman's mental toughness.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
You should.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Very
Rookie,
cool.
what do you think? Can you actually answer the question?
The question was most surprising quarterback. Okay, I'm going to transport you to the faraway land of Baltimore.
Oh.
And my surprising cut is Perriman, Brashad Perriman. Yeah, it's not because he's a former first-round pick. I can't remember what he was taking. He was like taken 15th or something like that. Like
he was taken in the first round.
What?
Yeah.
He was taken in the first round.
So if you're 15, are you still within the first round?
Yeah. I can't remember what he was though.
If you don't have the date.
Oh, okay. Just
he's
generalize it.
Stats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just
generalize it. Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't know,
I see how you work now. Okay. It's not because he hasn't like lived up to his billing as a first rounder and then he's cut. Like that happens actually quite a bit. It's because that means RG3 is on the roster as their second string quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not Lamar, who they're super high on, including all the fans. Like I know the fans kind of react to these things, but he looked good.
Yeah.
He brings a completely different look to the team.
Yes.
And Flacco, let's be honest, hasn't looked good in years past. So I'm more surprised that they got rid of a guy like that. I know that you're saving a lot of space.
Yeah.
But it's more surprising to me that a guy like RG3 has stayed on as a third quarterback, but most importantly, the second string.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
because think of the difference in how you'd run an offense between Flacco and RG3 and Alexander. I mean, that's a totally different offense.
And something can be said about protecting the rookie a little bit. And, in case anything does happen to Flacco, he's the guy you go to. And maybe they don't want to rush him in. He's a long-term project because I know he is.
He's still a bit raw, yeah.
Anyway, just surprising to me. I was...
Fair enough.
I guess I was surprised to hear that he had cracked the roster. I was more surprised to hear that they were kind of announcing him as a second string.
Sure enough.
That's my take.
All right. Okay, I'm out. That's what you're here for.
That's what
you're here for.
Business.
Yeah, business.
And when's the next shotgun?
And speaking of business, actually, I just heard the whistle.
God.
Guys, we got another one to go.
We just finished the last one.
Now, in order to honor our Bills fans, listeners tonight from the Bills Mafia, we're gonna shotgun a Labatt's Blue beer coming up.
I can already. Do you want me to rank it now? I can already rank it.
Two. You have no idea. You have no idea. So
I can
now
guess.
it's time.
I could do a pretty well.
Stop talking. Start drinking. All right, guys.
We're getting better at this.
How? You spilled half on your chest.
Well. Yeah, but it started well. It just finished
I thought that
poorly.
was sweat. You're putting in a hard night's work here.
I know this is we suffer for this. We suffer for this.
Yeah, unreal. Well,
yeah.
The question is not how it went down; it's how did it wear?
Yeah.
How did it? Who wore it better?
How did it come back up?
Yeah, there's that too. So, guys, I want a rating out of 10. How was?
I know, like that.
How was the shotgun of the Labatt's Blue?
Labatt's Blue. Not a huge fan. 4.5.
Oh,
I'm going to go lower. Yeah. I'm going to go 3.
Whoa.
You went up from your original prediction.
I did. I did. Predictions.
Oh, jeez.
Hey.
And why is that?
For me, there's a couple of reasons. For me, the aftertaste, not a big fan.
Oh.
Overall flavor. Banquet was just crisp. It was just crisp and clean.
Oh, the Coors Banquet.
Just got it done.
Because
this was kind of like a frothy a frothy mess.
We're being joined by Lisa Johnson from Our Turf Football. She's covering the Dolphins. Say hello to Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Lisa. Thanks for coming on.
No problem, fellas. How are you guys doing tonight?
So we've been talking roster cuts with our guests. Who is the most surprising cut for the Dolphins?
Honestly, I'm going to throw a curveball here. It isn't about the player that got cut this year for us, honestly. Talking to the fans and everybody, it's about the players we kept. Isn't that odd? I mean, it's always that one player you say, oh, my God, I can't believe we cut him. Honestly, there's no cuts that these fans are freaking out about. It's more who we kept. And those players that I'm talking about is Brock Osweiler and David Fales. And Miami signed another quarterback, bringing in from Tennessee, and everybody's talking about Falk, honestly. And I love the quarterback position, but you know what? I don't know much about the kids, so I'm like trying to backtrack. I'm on the computer, but that's been the whole talk, fellas. I mean, I wish I could sit here and say, oh my God, we cut this guy, we cut this guy, but they're not. They're freaking out about people we've kept.
Can those QBs play special teams?
Yeah, right. I don't know. Could you see Osweiler 6'7" running down the field on special teams play?
He'd look great as a gunner.
He'd be like a giraffe. He'd be like a newborn giraffe.
I can see him blocking a field goal or two.
Yeah, that's true. That's not bad.
There you go.
That's not bad.
You might be onto something there. Hey.
I like it.
Well, the Saints ran with Taysom Hill for a long time.
That's actually
the only quarterback we've ever heard of that played special teams is a gunner.
That's his only job now. He's
Okay, Lisa, so from the outside, national media tend to not go so deep with their analysis on teams. So tell us, what are we overlooking with the Dolphins this year?
I think you're going to overlook our running back core. I think when you look at Frank Gore, I think, it quietly, didn't play. He was begging to play a game. Coach put him in. It was rainy conditions. He took one snap, like -2 yards, then caught a pass for a yard, and then he was out of there. So when you look at Kenyon Drake, Frank Gore, Sanoa Perry, and Calvin Ballage, I think you're going to underlook our running backs because we only carried like 5 wide receivers, and everybody was surprised with that, especially with Jakeem Grant being injured. Devontae Parker can't ever seem to get on the field. I mean, he walks through the door and stubs his toe, and he's on the IR. So I think you're looking at that running back core as being almost like a running back / wide receiver. So, because I think you're going to see a lot of that from this Gase offense. So It's going to be interesting. I think our running back core. Watch Frank Gore. I just got a feeling about this guy. I was watching him in training camp. I mean, he looks like he's 21 years old. I mean, it's amazing watching him. After this career he's had, he's like I said, he could be the deciding factor here with this Dolphin running game.
I think he has a 21-year-old.
I think he is. His name's Kenyon Drake, I think. I'm excited for
training together. Maybe you know how that goes.
There you go. I'm excited for the kid. I think your kid running back Drake is really exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it was a great pickup for the Dolphins. So, like I said, I think that's going to be the talk is our running game. I think you're going to see a lot more of the ground and pound here, where a lot of people are expecting Gase. He likes that tight end. Running back out of the backfield. So you're going to see a lot of that, I believe.
Women are taking on more and more prominent roles in the NFL now. What do you think it'll take for a woman to actually become an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator in the NFL?
I don't think it's going to take much more, to be honest with you. I think we're starting to pave the way already. I think when you saw people like Coach Jen Walters start with the Arizona Cardinals, Samantha Rappaport is a leading force of women in the NFL, where you're starting to see women get hired as strength coaches, offensive assistant coaches. I mean, so I think it's coming. I don't know necessarily when it is, but I would say within the next 5 years, I think you're going to see somebody take a serious step.
Wow. Right on.
Cool. I do. I think, and like I said, I know the knocks because people are like, but women play football. There is professional women's football leagues. And, these girls, and we've had them on our show, these girls are smart. And, I think it's coming.
So in your opinion, what team this year is going to surprise us all?
San Diego Chargers.
Wow.
Okay. You don't say.
All right. And why is that?
Yeah. I do. I think with their receiving core now and with Phillip Rivers, I think this is the last hurrah. I don't honestly think that division is that hard to take. the Raiders with Gruden, I think would be their hardest thing. The Chiefs, I'm not a big third quarterback. He kind of freaks me out a little bit. The Broncos with Keenum, I think the Broncos are going to be a hot mess. So I think the Chargers are actually going to slide in there and surprise a lot of people.
Tell us more about the Broncos.
Stats guy's like, he's cringing in his chair. He's like, this interview's over.
Yeah. Nice having you.
Yeah.
The only thing I can tell you about the Broncos is I'm really surprised the Dolphins haven't brought in Paxton Lynch, too. Let's add 5
more. Give it time. Give it time.
Osweiler and Lynch blocking field goals together?
Are you kidding me? Unstoppable.
Last question. As you may know, the coach recently picked Tom Brady as his starting quarterback on his fantasy football team. In your opinion, should we either waive him, give the coach a 2-game suspension, forgive him, or smother him with a TB12 jersey?
I would smother him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Smothered or shove it. Either one works.
Lisa Johnson, your team blitzed material. Lisa, it's been a huge pleasure to have you on the show. Totally. It's always a pleasure to hear more about what's going on down in southern Florida. So thanks very much for your feedback on the team tonight.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me. It was fun.
There's the whistle. It's time for another shotgun.
Jesus.
So this time,
why does he do this,
guys? It's now it's time for Miller Lite.
What number was that?
We're done for the night.
Okay, I want a rating out of 10.
Okay, so prejudice-wise, I'm a big fan of Miller Lite.
Yeah, big fan.
So I'm going to probably bump this up more than I probably should, but it was nice and cold. It finishes well. I'm going to go 9.
Whoa!
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're drunk.
Yeah, he's hammered.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
Maybe?
He's hammered. Yeah.
You showed up drunk.
He's laying on the ground. We're recording him from on the ground.
I really like Miller Lite.
Yeah. I'm not going to go that high.
Oh.
I'm not going to go as high as... You know what I regret? My Bud Light rating. I said 8.
Yeah.
So I gotta go higher than that. I gotta go 8.25.
But you got no room left.
8.25.
Can you revise a
No.
Can I revise? I can't revise.
You cannot
Can
revise.
I go decimals? Like
No.
2.5?
That's 2.5's fine.
Okay. Well, let's go 8.25.
That's fine. This makes it the highest rated beer so far.
No, 8.5. Was
No,
Coors
but
Banquet.
Combine
But he's
them.
combining.
Yours don't matter only.
He's doing math.
You're
here.
combining.
He's doing
with
math.
the
Don't
coach.
understand. Usually only what I say matters.
You don't understand is something you should say more. Guys, we're being joined by Tolly Anderson, Bengals fangirl from the Fangirl Sports Network. Guys, say hi to Tolly.
Hey, Tolly.
Hey, Tolly. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, what's going on?
We've been talking roster cuts all show, so tell us who the Bengals let go that was a big surprise.
I feel like this entire preseason has been surprising, but a big player that was recently cut on Saturday would be Michael Johnson, defensive end. That was gnarly. And then re-signed.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that all about?
I mean, I don't know. There's a few articles that, of course, I read. They were making room, and then they obviously made room to bring him back. It's just, talk about a roller coaster ride for that guy. That's a veteran, so I'm sure it was shocking. They're like, no, we want you back. And in fact, can you be our captain this year, too?
Come on. Is that what they said?
This was all just a test.
Well, he's on the captain.
Yeah. And you passed, so you're the captain now.
You showed great character.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's so good. That's so good.
But we did actually cut you for the record.
So
That's
good.
amazing.
Tell us, what are we overlooking with the Bengals this year?
Oh, good question. I've been seeing all these headlines, youngest team on the in the NFL, or all these rookies or just star players. But in my opinion, and it's not necessarily bashing the Bengals because, I am a big fan, but with age comes maturity. Is this team possibly too young?
Yeah.
Those vets really have to step up then, because these rookies haven't had NFL experience. You know what I mean? College and then NFL, that's next level. That's a different playing game.
So in your opinion, Tolly, what team this year is going to surprise us all?
I'm going to have some bias. I will say the Bengals. As young as they are, they do have some studs. I know they went 7-9 last year. But Dalton's good. He just has to stay healthy. So, why don't I just say the Bengals?
You may have heard recently that the coach selected Tom Brady as his fantasy football starting quarterback. Now, we're wondering what we should do as a result. Now, this is a multiple choice question. So, should we A, just waive the coach, B, give him a 2-game suspension, C, forgive him,
yes,
or D, smother him with a Tom Brady jersey?
Well, smothering would always be funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, agreed.
That's
agreed.
Fine. That's fine. Good. Thank you. Final answer?
No, wait, no.
Oh, okay.
Pick C.
Let's be nice here. Let's forgive.
Hey! Wow. I love it.
Never thought I'd hear it.
Wow.
I love it.
Incredible. So there are forgiving people that listen to this
We're
show.
going to go in a different direction with it, but thank you for your
input. Great.
Everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tolly, it's been a pleasure to have you on Blitz. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, guys. Hopefully we'll be chatting soon.
And that's Tolly Anderson from the Bengals Fangirl Sports Network. That's a wrap for this episode, our NFL regular season preview.
The shotgun episode, you mean? Good Lord.
By this time next week,
we'll
have watched regular season football.
Oh, yeah. We'll be right into it. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we'll be happy.
As we wrap up, let's talk about what our favorite shotgun beer was tonight. It was
Miller Lite
banquet beer.
Well, I know yours was Rookie.
I don't understand.
I know you don't understand. But in terms of your joint opinion on this,
what was it?
Miller Lite wins the best beer to shotgun.
Interesting.
It's your favorite shotgun beer.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that incredible?
Mine was banquet.
Okay, I know.
Who's this guy?
Rookie loves the Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
the record.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
They're not paying you to say that.
I still like it.
Fair enough.
I think it's great. Okay. And before we sign off, we just wanted to shout out a few listeners who put Team Blitzed in their Twitter profiles. Folks, you are awesome. Just Ann, who's a Steelers fan. Ben Driscula, who's a Bears fan. Joey Bag of Donuts, Steelers fan. Tartan Tony, Bears fan. Football and Other F Words, a Titans fan. Steven Smith, Titans fan. David Chesbro, Bills fan. The Real Alan Ondalen, Bills fan. William Burke, who's also a Bills fan, and Matt Henry, Bills fan, who just had his 19th birthday. Coach Dresco, Hellhound, Angie Spencer, a fan named Donna, Fantasy Madman, RJ Kobza, Mike Zimmer's Ears, Scuba Sue, Dakota Muller, Alex Croce, Mark Ernest, and Pat, also known as Mr. Florio 25. Thanks so much for the support, guys, and let's play some football.